Hello everyone, this is Boricua Binks and welcome back to Let's Play the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, where in the last episode we finished off the third case of the game, and it was an interesting ending because we pretty much had like a mistrial, in my opinion, where we really couldn't determine if he was innocent or guilty, so they wanted to prove that there was tampering and all of that, but anyway, in the end, he got declared not guilty. So I think, in my opinion, he got away with murder. And then, at the end, they showed that the freaking omnibus was on fire, and there was someone inside. That was insane. I couldn't believe that. That was pretty good. That was a good twist right there. So I'm excited to see what will happen next. Yeah, so now we're going to be starting the adventure of the Clouded Kokoro, episode 4. Okay.
I begin to think, Wilson, said Sholmes, turning his head languidly in my direction, that there is more to this case than that which we have observed. Indeed, that there may be another part to this story that we are yet to discover. His eyes wandered, following the steam rising from his cup of herbal tea, leading him to the distant memory of that snowy evening. To the young lady collapsed on the pavement along Briar Road, and to the knife in her back.
Ooh.
Lit in the soft glow of gas lamps, a most extraordinary scene had been set. And under the cover of a light fog, the curtain had risen silently on the insoluble mystery of our invisible killer.
All right. Interesting. Very interesting. Alright, so it's the very next day then. February 19th, 9:47 a.m., British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice's office. Did you sleep last night, Mr. Naruhodo? Where did you guys sleep? No, not at all. In the park? Oh, they were in a hotel. Okay. It was an enormous hotel, wasn't it? The rooms were so luxurious, I felt like we were staying in a palace. And with all the gas lights twinkling, it was brighter than day, even in the middle of the night. What about the enormous beds? After my time on the SS Burya, I wasn't going to waste a single inch of that space. I spent the entire night rolling from one side of the mattress to the other. That's cute. Oh, I could just imagine Asogi watching him. He's like amused and also a little annoyed. Like, come on, man. Oh, Asogi, I'm so sad you're not here with us. Oh yes, it really was the sort of night you can only dream of normally. Except when I learned that we owed £3 for the rooms, that dream quickly turned into a nightmare. Oops, sorry about that. The building was so impressive and the entrance so inviting, I just wandered in without thinking. In a lodging house in Japan, that sum of money would put a roof over your head for a whole year. I did try, but I'm afraid I couldn't help my tears when we were presented with the bill. She does cry a lot, doesn't she? That's new. I really am sorry. Well, never mind. We must find some more affordable lodging straight away, though. If we're not careful, our entire stipend will be used up in 10 days or less. London is a scary place. Oh, good morning to you at this early hour. I'm assuming it's him? Yep. Oh, yes, well... Good morning to you, Lord Chief Justice. We have come to report on the outcome of the trial at the Old Bailey yesterday. Susato-san is amazing. She doesn't bat an eyelid, even in the presence of the imposing Lord Stronghart.
Yes, I believe you had a very comprehensive initiation into British courtroom practices.
Oh, yes, it was very, eye-opening. Thank you. And, in accordance with your instructions, Lord Stronghart, Mr. Naruhodo performed his duty to the end.
Yes, I've already been apprised of events. You conducted a remarkable defense. You may consider the test passed.
Oh,
No longer are you a student from the Empire of Japan. You may henceforth claim to be a fully fledged lawyer. My country is delighted to welcome young talent from such a remote eastern land.
yay, good for you. Thank you very much. So, I'm a lawyer now.
Now, in view of your new appointment, I have a fresh case in mind for you. I'd like you to take it on at once. I trust that won't be a problem.
Hey, will I actually get to investigate this time? Another case? Already?
Nothing trains a lawyer better than practical experience. I'm sure I don't sense dissatisfaction, do I?
It's just that yesterday's trial ended unusually. I haven't quite come to terms with it.
What's to come to terms with? The man was cleared. What more were you hoping for?
Ah. Yeah, that's the difference here. You see, in this ace attorney world, our protagonists like to go for the truth more than just for a not guilty verdict. So, yeah, that's why he's not happy. And I guess they don't know about the fire, because they left, so...
The culpability of the defendant has not at the present time been established by this court. Consequently, the jury will not be required to prefer judgment.
Well, Lord Von Zix, it's been a pleasure, so it has.
And as for you, my dear fella, I couldn't have asked for a better defense.
Yeah, you piece of garbage. Yeah, doing your evil laugh. I mean, come on. That's shady. I just can't help wondering if Mr. McGilded really was innocent. Mr. Naruhodo! It's just that I never managed to ascertain the truth. And then the trial ended.
Well, you needn't let it trouble you for a second longer.
Sorry? What do you mean, Lord Stronghart? Is he dead? Was he the one inside the carriage? Oh my god, so he was the one inside. Holy crap, justice was served, but in a horrible way? Then who did it? Ooh, I'm curious. Ooh, this is spicy.
Magnus McGilded passed away immediately following the trial.
No! What? Mr. McGilded is... dead?
I'll have 19 minutes and 41 seconds until my next engagement. Time enough to talk.
Okay. I really want to look around. Can we examine now? Without the whole rush? Look at these menacing
menacing metal giants facing each other across the room.
I believe they're... Yes, they're suits of armor.
Oh, right. I thought maybe they were like the lion dogs we have in Japan guarding shrine gates.
No, not at all. In fact, in Europe, suits of armor like these are always possessed by evil spirits, you know. And they roam around in the middle of the night.
Really? Is there nothing you don't know, Miss Susato?
This book tells me everything I need to know about everything. If you're ever unsure, just ask.
It's pretty small, considering.
Where did she get that incredible tome?
Okay.
Just look at all the naughty books
Oh, I clicked on the pillar, but okay.
packed together on these shelves. They go from floor to ceiling.
And they're all books that you couldn't hope to come by in Japan. It's like a dream.
Yes, a very bad dream.
They're not all about British law either. There are books about the judicial systems of other Western nations. France, Germany, Spain, Holland.
What about Russia?
Why do you ask?
I was wondering about asking the Lord Chief Justice how you say wardrobe in Russian. What do you think?
Do you have to bring up something so sad? I think perhaps it's a thought best abandoned.
Yeah. I don't want to think about Osogi's death right now.
Is this some kind of clock?
Actually, I think we might be inside some sort of giant clock. But those gears are larger than anything you'd find on a steam locomotive even.
It's eerie. Do you think clocks are some sort of hobby of his? The Lord Chief Justice, I mean.
If you haven't noticed, the whole motif about him is about time and clocks, so yeah.
Well, boys do enjoy fiddling around with machines, don't they?
I'm not sure you could fiddle with cogs that size, and I'm certain you couldn't call him a boy. Still, it's amazing how little noise the cogs make, considering how large they are. There's actually something quite soothing about their precise rhythm.
Okay, no. Everything else looks the same, pretty much. So I guess the only thing now to look at would be his desk. This must be the Lord Chief Justice's desk. I believe it's made of marble.
It looks more like an over-the-top tombstone that's toppled over to me.
I think that's your fanciful imagination at work again, Mr. Naruhodo.
It feels like everything that's normally made of wood and paper at home is made of bricks and stones here.
I know. That's why this place feels so overbearing, I'm sure.
Okay. Oh, we can turn our head. But I guess there's really no point. It's kind of scary because it looks like we could just fall here. Is there really nothing else of note? I guess not. Alright. Well, I think that's enough for now. Let's talk to him. Oh, can we present something? Might as well, right?
Lord Stronghart, may I show you this?
To accept this item, issue a receipt, examine it thoroughly, and make a formal statement of my findings. Would require something in the region of 24 seconds of my time.
Sorry? Didn't you just waste like 30 seconds of your time to say all of that?
Does the item warrant 24 seconds of my time, Mr. Naruhodo?
Let's leave it for now.
Okay. Now we can talk.
I don't understand. What happened? How can he be dead?
After the trial concluded yesterday, there was a great commotion in the Old Bailey. As you'll presumably recall, an omnibus had been wheeled into the courtroom.
Yes, of course, that was the scene of the crime which Mr. McGilded had been accused of.
Precisely. Well, while the bailiff's attention was diverted by some other matter, the omnibus went up in flames.
No.
How could such a thing have happened?
That is being investigated as we speak, but already the police have identified a corpse found inside the charred shell of the carriage as that of Mr. McGilded.
That's awful.
The man must have slipped inside whilst the bailiff's attention was elsewhere.
That bailiff really needs to pay more attention. He should be frickin' fired.
And how could that have happened?
That is also being investigated as we speak.
Thinking back now, immediately after the trial, Mr. McGilded did mention going back into the courtroom to look at the omnibus. Yep, he sure did.
Well, I must be making tracks now. 'Tis time for the inspection.
Sorry? What inspection?
They're going to examine the omnibus again, so I'm told. I asked if I could be present for it myself. An inspection of the omnibus. Not to my knowledge. I don't believe Scotland Yard had any intention of re-examining the carriage.
Then the bailiff or whoever who called him over to do so must have been somebody he paid off, right? He's like, hey, I'll pay you 100 guineas to let me have 5 minutes alone with the omnibus or something. I bet you that's what he did. But he didn't expect to be murdered like that, so...
But then who was Mr. McGilded talking about?
Never mind that now. The Yard is making a thorough investigation. This matter is no longer any concern of yours. Leave it to the police.
Poor Mr. McGilded.
Okay. So, how did you find your first taste of our country's Supreme Court?
Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, it was... wow.
Mr. Nadahodo means that the whole experience was steeped in the solemnity, I think is how you would say it, of Great Britain's long history. It's really a world apart from our own judicial system in Japan, which is only a few short decades old.
Wow, Susato-san has such a way with words.
Yeah, she's really smart and like good in terms of like public speaking. But she also has her kind of silly side, you know, in regards to like Sherlock and her tossing Ryunosuke around. And you seem to have a way of failing to find the right ones. Yet again, our sidekick understands what we were thinking.
The judicial system.
Wow. Whew, my tongue got tied.
The judicial system here is the most advanced in the world. Learn all you can.
The most advanced in the world, is it?
It was fortunate that your very first trial was a simple affair.
Oh, really? I don't think it was that simple, but sure. Simple? That was simple?
Oh yes, compared to what you're gonna have to deal with in case 5.
I'm guessing. I mean, usually they ramp up the difficulty and confusion for the last case of the game.
As I believe I mentioned yesterday morning, it was a trial you couldn't lose.
I don't mean to be contrary, Lord Stronghart, but the case was anything but simple.
The circumstances of the case were so incriminating. I was stunned when I first heard them. In fact, I'm still finding it hard to believe that we managed to get a favorable verdict. Is something funny?
No, my apologies. However, the fact is that you did receive the not guilty verdict you set out to achieve. And that can only be attributed to exceptional talent. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, I don't know about that.
I don't like modesty.
Clearly.
Well, never mind. You exceeded my expectations, I freely admit. That much, at least, is an undeniable truth. Which is precisely why I have prepared the new case for you that I mentioned before.
What's going on? What was he going to say before?
Okay. Let's hear about it. Could you perhaps give us some more details about the new case you mentioned?
Don't tell me. It's a murder, and the trial starts in 10 minutes.
Don't worry, it's nothing so alarming or quite so urgent as your last assignment. In fact, this case is completely different.
Oh, I see. Did he just read my mind?
just like Susato did earlier, I guess.
That is to say, no one has died as yet.
Oh, it's not a murder? So the woman who was stabbed, well, at least according to the little prologue at the beginning, so she's not dead. I'm assuming that's what the case is about. Maybe they changed it a little. Maybe it's a man and maybe he wasn't stabbed. Maybe he was shot. Who knows?
And the trial will not be today. There is plenty of time to research the case thoroughly. 23 hours, 43 minutes, and 19 seconds to be precise.
So the trial's tomorrow, then.
But hey, we get to investigate. Is everything all right?
Oh, yes, I'm just a little confused, that's all. Yesterday's trial was... well, it's left me wondering if I'm really cut out for being a lawyer.
Oh, Mr. Naruhodo.
I don't know if I could face standing in that courtroom again after Mr. McGilda's trial.
Ah yes, I nearly forgot. There is one similarity with yesterday's case. Once again, there is currently no one to advocate for the defense.
Oh,
Just gotta guilt us into it, huh?
If the situation remains unchanged, The trial will start tomorrow with the defendant unrepresented. And if that happens, I need not remind you of the inevitable outcome.
The most terrible end awaits the defendant.
Yes, that's right.
Here we go again.
Your time is up. You will have to excuse me. I would advise you to begin making preparations for tomorrow's trial. After all, the clock is ever ticking. There is now but 23 hours, 26 minutes, and 39 seconds until the court sits.
Last time he mentioned the 23 hours, he said there was plenty of time.
And one more thing, Mr. Naruhodo. There is something I should like to ask you.
Oh, what's that?
Yesterday you remarked upon something. That you intend to see through the will of your late compatriot, Mr. Asogi.
Which we still don't know the true meaning of, you know?
I would be interested to hear what exactly you mean by that. Inside 34 seconds.
Oh, well, Kazuma always used to say, you see, that he wanted to learn how the greatest justice system in the world worked so he could change ours in Japan. Now that he's gone, I like to work towards that myself. And there's another thing.
Oh,
Another thing? Continue.
On the way here on the steamship, he said something to me.
There's something very important that I have to do. Something very important? And what exactly would that be?
He never had a chance to tell me. I suppose he would have done if he'd ever made it to...
You're out of time. Well, thank you for an enlightening discussion.
I feel like he wanted to hear if he knew what that thing was, you know? But unfortunately, like he said, we don't know. So I wonder if he's going to use that to his advantage? Or if that's like, is it a good or a bad thing that we don't know? So I'm a little concerned still. Mr. Naruhodo, what's all this about? Mr. Asogi never once mentioned anything of the sort to me.
I urge you both to focus your attentions on the matter at hand. I've taken the liberty of summoning the police inspector in charge of the case. He'll be able to apprise you of the details.
How long has he been there?
So, I wish you the best of luck and bid you farewell.
There's something very important that I have to do. Kazuma-sama, what did you mean?
I wish I knew, but honestly, he never told me. Anyway, we had better talk to the detective, don't you think?
Yes, you're right.
I hope I'm just imagining it, but I wouldn't say he looks pleased to see us at all.
Interesting, because he has a similar coat like Gumshoe. I'm eager to see what his name is and what his personality is like and all of that. But we will do that in the next episode. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I hope you're enjoying this. And until next time, have a nice day. Bye-bye.